In this video, I want to talk about comparison operators and how we might use them in some playback situations. So comparison operators, which can be known in math and computer programming as Boolean operators, they look to see whether a comparison is true. The operators that we think of in math, less than, greater than, less than or equal to, greater than or equal to, and is equal to. So it's deciding, for instance, if your input is greater than X. And if that's true, say 7 is 7 greater than 5. If that's true, the output will be a 1. If I input and say is 4 greater than 5, the result of that is false and the output would be a 0. So Max has these operators as objects, and we're going to take a look at them. We should know that the is equal to, which is done with two equal signs, is really functionally the same as using select. So what I'm going to avoid that for now and just start with the less than object. So type in the less than sign. Let's give it an argument of, say, 5. And hook up a number box below and a number box above. So I for integer number box in both cases. And now if I enter in, say, a 7, like I said before, in this case it's less than, I'm using less than rather than greater than, so 7 is not less than 5, the output is 0. And just because that didn't change doesn't mean it didn't output a 0. Let's hook up so you can see, or better yet, print comparison. I'm a big fan of naming my print objects. And then open up the console and gonna bring this in. To clear it down here. So let's go back and I can type the 7 in again and it outputs a 0. If I type in a 2, that gives me a 1 for true. Type in a 5, and that's also false because it's not less than. If I were to modify and say less than or equal to, equal sign coming after the operator, 5 is now true. And I can switch this around to anything, but I'm going to keep with the less thans. Okay, and so how can I use it? Let's create our basic playback. So I'm going to say make note and give it a value and have that go to a note out. And I'm going to go ahead and specify the MIDI channel because I'll lead up to something here. MIDI note velocity, and I'm going to have a program out, also MIDI channel 1, and integer number box to change my patch. And what we'll do is look for, let's hook up a toggle and a metro. Metro could certainly use a speed. Let's say 250. I'm going to change my make note duration to 125, and that's milliseconds again. Let's bring this down a little bit. Let's say, let's have a random 10. So the number toggle is going to go in. And then looking at the output, I can select 1, so I'm looking to select when the comparison is true. That'll send out a bang. And I can use the bang message to send out the contents of a number box, another I. And that will go to a offset. So let's add 48 to the output. Another number box that we can look at it. And that goes into make note. Now this number box needs something in it. Bang to a number box will tell the number object to output its current contents. So I need to give it content. I'm going to send the contents of this number, but have it only set this number box, not output. So I can use the message set $1, which sends the set whatever value has been given to it and have it go to this number box. But nothing will play until the bang happens. And the bang is only going to happen if the comparison is true. So one thing that's important to remember is to put the set message to the right. I need that to happen before the comparison happens. So I'm taking advantage of the right to left order to go through. But just to give you an example, if I type things I know are not true, like 10, 10 will come here, but this number doesn't change until it gets an output. If I type a 2, I get that note plays out. 2 added to 48 gives me 50, and that plays a note. Make the patch more interesting and start the metro, and I'm only going to get notes if the values are 0, 1, 2, 3, or 4, that's less than 5. 5 through 9, the other values I can get from this random object, are not going to play. They'll store, but there'll be no bang message. They won't go out. So it lets me generate a big amount of data, but doesn't only plays the ones that are below 5. And again, output of this number box is first going to the set message, which goes to this number box. Then it outputs a second time to this comparison, whether it's true or false is picked up by the select one. If it's true, that gives me a bang message that outputs the contents of the number box and plays the note. Otherwise, it doesn't play the note. And if I, for instance, were to change it, this comparison is less than, but make it greater than, I'm going to get the opposite. I'll get the higher notes. 5 to 9, lower notes will not play. So I can go either way. Change it back. So I'm going to stop on this one, but show you another way to take this, which is to use the split object, which looks for numbers within a value and can do something interesting with that. So we'll stop this one. I'm going to start another one.